Good morning, how are you? Okay, let's start. There are a lot of people working at this company, so could you please tell me which would be your ideal environment to work
In my opinion, the ideal environment to work in would be the place in which you feel free to be yourself and don't pretend to be someone else just because you want your boss to like you. A place where people are nice, hardworking, responsible, but on top of that, I would really enjoy to work in somewhere where people have sense of humor. I believe that working in big companies can be very stressful. So, if we know we will be working together for many hours, fun, jokes, and a good relationship is vital among colleagues.
What do you know about our company? And how did you hear about us?
I heard about you through the advertisement you published in your website. That is how I got your details and how I sent my CV and the other information. What I know about your company is more or less the basic information every person obtains from research on the web and on pages you update. And well, as I said, basic information. For example, how long have you been working in this company? What expectation and main goals you expect from your employees? And that sort of things. However, I should highlight the fact that I would like to find more about this company by really working here and not so much from what I've been told.
We are looking for a teacher who gets in contact with students and their feelings. So, do you consider yourself an easygoing person?
Yes, I totally consider myself an open-minded teacher. I really like the fact of being in touch with my students. I like to know if they are struggling with some kind of problem or if they are experiencing good things in their lives. Because by doing that, we get to know the student and we understand the reason of if both they are doing bad or well in the course.
We have some students with learning difficulties. How would you help them in order to improve, taking into account psychology and pedagogy?
I worked once with students with learning difficulties, and I must say I felt very comfortable when working with them. Although we all know they have a difference, we should not treat them differently. They have a different ability to learn, but their brains are the same as ours. It happens that it functions in another way. In order to improve their learning, I would suggest them to visit some specialists who can help them better than I can. In the case they can visit another people from what I have studied in my previous years, I would make them part of the class. I wouldn't discriminate them at all, neither would I label them with some sort of awkward names that would make them uncomfortable. And that is how I will work with them, by making them understand they are not so different from what we are, just to make them understand that they function in another way. For example, I could apply some extra tasks, I wouldn't rush them to work at the same speed the others do, and so on.
We are trying to implement more technology in our classrooms. What would you do to achieve?
Working with technology is something I've been studying since last year. I took different courses in the subject, and I must say I'm pretty informed in that field. For example, I would include music into the classroom, not only by working with the music itself, but also bringing the video of the song into the class, and also by analyzing the lyrics. I would use all the resources available to make a more dynamic class, and by that I mean that if I have the chance, I would totally implement PowerPoint presentations. I would make students do homework, and also I would apply interacting activities with a special web page.
What feature from your last position you like the most, and what do you like the least?
What I liked the most about my previous job was the environment. The relationship with my colleagues was fantastic. We could spend 8-9 hours together and still never got tired of any of us. That is something very positive that I'll keep with me, along with the relationship I had with the students. Although they were quite restless, they were very hardworking, and that is something I really appreciated. On the other hand, I don't like to do this, but if I had to name a negative aspect of that job, I would say that my boss was a bit lazy. And I believe that if we want something to really work out the way we want, each member of the staff should contribute to the cause. Because it happens sometimes, some people do more than the rest, and I'm not so fan of that situation.
What do you think is the most difficult thing about being a teacher?
I believe the most difficult thing about being a teacher is the task to cope with many things at the same time. At the moment we enter in our classroom, we have to bear in mind that more than 20 brains are thinking about different things. We need to have control over their classes. We will be thinking about our own needs and worries, and apart from that, we need to do our job. And by that, I mean we have to teach them. Furthermore, I believe that apart from being a little stressful, if we really love what we are doing, we shouldn't find it too hard to strike a balance between these factors. And when we do this, we really start enjoying our job.
Your CV suggests that you may be overqualified for this position. What do you think about this? Do you agree?
I think this is a very difficult and powerful question, because although we are aware of our qualifications, skills, abilities, and needs, we do need to sound humble when talking about our study. From my point of view, I would say I'm not overqualified for this job, for the simple reason that we never stop learning. There are so many things out there I do not know, and maybe by working here I will come across with those things, and if I don't know how to react to those circumstances, then that means I wasn't so qualified as you thought. To conclude, I would say that I am a person who is always looking to learn more and never gets stuck in some situation. I'm always trying to find a solution of what I'm doing.
How could you overcome a difficult situation?
If I was asked this question, I would suggest the following situation. The principal headmaster will be absent the following Monday, and I was asked to replace him in that position for that day, as I was the most suitable teacher to do the job. That day, I entered to the office and get comfortable in the chair, thinking about how easy the day was going to be. However, things were about to change, because from one minute to another, one teacher started knocking at my door, yelling that an accident had happened between two students and that I needed to call an ambulance. Apart from that, two parents suddenly called me to talk about the behavior of their children, and on top of that, the water system failed and the school was getting into a giant flood. So, if I was presented this situation, first of all, I'll try to relax myself. Trust me and start to analyze all the situations one by one. Trusting in that I am able to cope with anything that comes to me. Having confidence in that people trust me to do that job. Stressful situations are given to us to test us, to prove to ourselves that we are capable of managing anything we put our mind to. So this is the way I would react to those situations.
What was the major challenge you faced as a teacher?
The major challenge I faced when working as a teacher was that I had once to manage a classroom of 45 students because there were no rooms left, and the principal asked me to join two groups and teach them the same just for that day. I set rules with the children, rules that were general. I guided them through the learning process of that day, and I attended to a majority whenever they asked me something. By the end of the day, everyone was calmed down and enjoyed the lesson, and the principal congratulated me to take control over the situation.